Sheikh Hasina's political dominance in Bangladesh has spanned decades, but recent years have seen growing unrest and challenges to her rule. To understand the current situation, it's important to dive into several interconnected factors, including political dynamics, economic issues, governance concerns, and international pressures. Bangladesh's political landscape has long been dominated by two major parties: the Awami League, led by Sheikh Hasina, and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, traditionally led by Khaleda Zia. This rivalry has fueled deep political polarization, often manifesting in street violence, strikes, and fierce electoral battles. Sheikh Hasina's government has faced accusations of undermining democratic processes. The 2018 national elections were heavily criticized for alleged irregularities. Reports of voter intimidation, ballot stuffing, and restrictions on opposition parties led to widespread skepticism about the legitimacy of her victory. The BNP and its allies claimed that the elections were rigged, further deepening political tensions. Over the years, the Awami League has been accused of using state machinery to suppress opposition. High-profile arrests, including that of BNP leader Khaleda Zia, and the use of controversial laws like the Digital Security Act to silence dissent, have been points of contention. This has led to accusations that Sheikh Hasina's government is becoming increasingly authoritarian. Despite periods of strong economic growth, Bangladesh has recently faced significant economic challenges. Inflation has eroded the purchasing power of ordinary citizens, and unemployment, particularly among the youth, has been a growing concern. Economic disparities between urban and rural areas, as well as within cities, have fueled discontent among the population. The pandemic severely impacted Bangladesh's economy, particularly in sectors like the garment industry, which is a major source of employment and foreign exchange. Lockdowns, disruptions in global supply chains, and reduced demand for exports led to economic contraction. The government's handling of the crisis has been criticized for not adequately supporting the most vulnerable populations, exacerbating existing economic grievances. Corruption allegations have plagued Hasina's administration, with critics arguing that funds meant for development and pandemic relief were misappropriated. Mismanagement of resources, particularly in sectors like healthcare and infrastructure, has further eroded public trust in the government. Human rights organizations have raised alarms over the shrinking space for free expression in Bangladesh. Journalists, activists, and ordinary citizens have faced harassment, arrests, and violence for criticizing the government. The Digital Security Act, introduced in 2018, has been widely condemned for being used to stifle dissent. There have been numerous reports of enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings by security forces, particularly targeting opposition figures and activists. These actions have sparked protests and condemnation both domestically and internationally. The independence of the judiciary has also come into question, with allegations that the government is influencing judicial processes to weaken the opposition. High-profile cases against opposition leaders and activists are often cited as examples of this interference. Bangladesh's geopolitical position between India, China, and Myanmar makes it a critical player in South Asia. Sheikh Hasina has maintained close ties with India, which has supported her government. But this relationship has also attracted criticism from those who feel that she is too aligned with Indian interests, particularly on issues like water sharing and trade. The influx of Rohingya refugees from Myanmar has created additional challenges for Bangladesh. While Hasina initially garnered international praise for accepting refugees, the protracted crisis has strained resources and led to growing tensions within Bangladesh. There is also international pressure on her government to improve conditions for the refugees and facilitate their return to Myanmar. The international community, particularly Western governments and human rights organizations, have increasingly criticized Hasina's human rights record. The United States and the European Union have expressed concerns over the democratic backsliding in